So, I already did this video for Final Fantasy V, but I figured, why not take a look at Final Fantasy VI, see what type of ways we can seize bosses and make the game hilariously easy. So, without further ado, how about we jump right into it, So, we have Gataluma here. And Gataluma is usually a bit of a pain in the butt. Not too difficult, but he can be a bit of a pain in the butt. However, one fight hold trigger is an easy way of killing him, and you can only do this if Celes has learned the spell called Imp. So if Celes has Imp, you can actually turn Gataluma into an Imp. And that will severely nerf Gataluma for the rest of the fight. As far as I'm aware, he will no longer be able to use any of his abilities. So, oh, never mind. I suppose he can still use like high potions and stuff. However, as you saw, his damage is kind of just whatever. What the heck was that? He did some kind of blast. Anyways, Gataluma gets nerfed. You don't have to really worry about Gataluma. That's the way of dealing with him. So, number 024 has this gimmick where he will change his elemental weakness and whatnot throughout the fight. Now, he is weak Berserk, but you have no way of using Berserk at this point in the game. There are a couple things you can do. For one, he's not immune to Imp. However, if I recall, he will always hit you with critical hits when he's an Imp. Maybe not here. Maybe they fixed that. Alternatively, if you cannot have Imp, actually, let's find out if he can actually use Barrier Change as an Imp. I think he's oh, that's correct. I don't think he can actually use Barrier Change as an Imp. So this just severely nerfs this boss. In addition, if you don't have Imp for whatever reason, number 024 is vulnerable to Sleep. So you can use this and then use anything that's magic elemental, for example like Edgar's Blast, Savin's Herbal, and that will deal with the boss very easily. So there's your way of seizing number 024 who is fought in the Magitek Research Facility. So here is Gigantos. He's a big old meanie. He will do triple attacks every time he acts, and they do generally around 600 damage when you normally fight him. He is an optional boss that you fight on the floating continent. Now, the easiest way of dealing with him, there's two ways. If you have Phantom, you can cast Phantom, and Phantom will make it impossible for him to hit you, as long as you don't use any magic on your party. Alternatively, if you have Caloglepis, you can just use Caloglepis or Break, and you will instantly defeat him. Very easy fight, nothing to worry about. So meet the Angler Whelk. This is an optional boss fought in Daryl's Tomb. It's a hidden boss in the chest, monster in the chest. He's generally a little bit of a pain in the butt. However, what if I told you, you can just cast Petrify on it. Break on either part will defeat it in one hit. That's all it takes. You can use Caloglepis, and you will instantly defeat this guy. In addition, if for some reason you do not have Break, you can just cast Death on him. Funny that an optional boss is vulnerable to both Break and Death. Why? Who knows? Square makes very weird decisions sometimes. So here is the Behemoth King, who is the boss of the Chain Imp Belt. which is in the World of Ruins and where you will find Shadow and Aurel. This guy has 2 phases though. So, assuming you have all the spells, there are 2 ways of dealing with this boss. You can cast Imp on them, and turn them into an Imp. This will negate the spells. Just note that whenever he hits you, it's always going to be a critical hit. But it gets rid of his spells. Does it get rid of the special attacks? Not entirely certain. The other method of dealing with this guy is casting Stop. So by getting rid of his special attacks, and by freezing him in place, there's nothing he can do. Also, graphics is still a little glitchy. Afterwards, you're gonna have to fight the second phase, which will come from behind you. And if you want to deal with this phase, we're just gonna cast Raise on it. Because he's undead, and that will instantly defeat him. Just like that. Simple as that. Don't have to worry about anything. So here we have Retzel, who is the boss that you fight at Doma Castle in Cyan Soul at the World of Ruin. This boss is annoying because he takes control of your party members one at a time. You have to kill your party member in order to deal with him. He can back out to attack him. All the while, you got these guys that are constantly barraging you with spells. The easiest way of dealing with them, cast Confuse on them. Otherwise you have to deal with Aga level spells, and that's annoying. You can cast Berserk, but I would recommend Confuse. They are vulnerable to Death and Break, but they revive. If you use Confuse, there is a chance that they will use Magic Drain, like so, which will give you a chance to slight off your own party members while they're busy draining their own magic. Makes it a lot more manageable, but is still RNG. As you can see, Magic Drain. It's all RNG. But it helps have them hit themselves and not bother you. Meet the Master Hogberry. This guy is a jerk, and you will fight him as an optional boss in the Cave of Ancient Castle. If you want to deal with this guy relatively easily, one of the methods you can do is cast Sleep. He is vulnerable to sleep. This way, you can actually just hit him with Magic Axe and never wake him up. In addition, you can also poison him. So you will poison him. He's still asleep. He should be poisoned now, like so. So you can hit him with a combo of Sleep with Poison, and he will ultimately perish. Easy enough fight, nothing to worry about. Meet the Samurai Soul. This guy is the optional boss that you can fight at the Ancient Castle. He's a little bit of a jerk. However, you can set it up so that you can inflict Confuse with him 100% of the time using Savin. And by doing it this way, as you can see, you can put it into a loop where the boss can do absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. So, Edgar is the best character for bringing along here. You could use the Confuse spell. However, when he gets lower on life, and if he gets a turn, he will give himself Reflect for the rest of the fight, so it's better to just bring Edgar and use Noise Blaster. Simple enough fight otherwise. And here is the fabled Magic Master. So he has a Reflect on. This makes him very annoying to fight. He hits you with very strong spells, very annoying to deal with. And he is the final boss that you will fight at the Hog of Cultist Hour. So, the recommended suggestion for this fight is break everyone with Reflect Ring. That's number one. Make sure you have a way of using Re-Raise. That's number two. With those combined, you'll be safe from his most of his magic, and you will be safe from his final attack. However, you don't really need Re-Raise, and honestly, or Reflect. You need to reflect on one person, but you don't really need to reflect ring. So put the reflect on one character, and can bounce Berserk off that character. Now, he will counter with Barrier Change, and he will more than likely use a spell afterwards. In this case, he cannot. If you have Phantom, use Phantom afterwards. This locks him out of being able to do any more barrier changes, and he can no longer use any of his spells, making them hilariously easy. After this, you can do whatever you want. You can hit him with Ultimas, Meteors, anything that bypasses Reflect. You can have Reflect Rings on, you can bounce spells off of you and hit him. Just be sure that if you're using Reflect Ring, if Thanos wears off, just note that you're gonna have to put Thanos back on the character if you don't want to get blasted like a regular attack. And again, make sure to have Re-Raise before you finish him, because if though he's Berserk, he will still use Ultima when he dies. And that's really all there is to this fight. You can alternatively, while he's Berserk, you can sit there and just constantly use Rask on him. This will reduce his MP to 0 eventually. He has 60,000 MP, so it's gonna take a while to do, unless you have high magic. But doing it this way will allow you to bypass the Death Ultima. Because when he reaches 0 MP, he will perish. Use whichever method is faster for you. So meet the Red Dragon. He is the optional boss at the Phoenix Cave, the only boss at the Phoenix Cave. If you bring Flame Seals, assuming you have plenty of Flame Seals, anything that absorbs or negates fire damage, you will be able to beat this boss relatively easily. In addition, you can confuse him. He's not immune to confuse, and he is not immune to poison. I did not know he could use Eraser on himself. That's actually interesting. So poison will do a decent chunk of damage. So again, Edgar's very good here for confuse. Just confuse spam. Edgar is a little underrated with his noise blaster. So again, very easy boss. Meet the Ice Dragon. This is a boss that you fight at the Norse snowfields. This is a boss that you would normally fight at Kefka's, or when you fight Kefka originally in the World of Balance. You fight him in the World of Ruin in the same area. As you can see, he's a little bit of a pain in the butt. If you have the Ice Seal, he can't really kill you. However, there are a few ways of dealing with him, assuming that nobody got froze. If anyone got froze, be sure to use the fire spell to unfreeze him. So, how do we deal with this boss? First off, he's not immune to silence, so you can use silence to negate all of his stuff. In addition, you can use poison. Poison will do a lot of damage over time. And since he's silent, you can use Phantom. Now here's the thing. Phantom is key here as well, because if you don't mind super cheesing it, he's not immune to Berserk. So you can Berserk him and be invincible for the rest of the fight. Now, fun fact, you can, in fact, use Doom. However, despite the fact that Doom is taken down, it will not kill him. So don't get excited because you can Doom him. He's immune to instant death anyways. If you break Ice Shield, again, he can't really hurt you outside the regular physical attacks. So the Earth Dragon is a boss that you will fight at the Opera House in the World of Ruin. Now, if you bring Auto Float, it completely neutralizes this boss for the most part. Bring Auto Float, bring Phantom for Thanos, and he can't really do anything. On that note, if you wanna throw statuses at him, he is not immune to poison. So be sure to throw some poison at him, just so that poison does work. So poison does in fact work. And, believe it or not, he is not immune to sleep. So you can use sleep and just wail on him with whatever you want. Simple as that. And if you have Gaia Gear and or Angel Wings, very easy to fight. Super easy. For dragons, they're not super difficult to fight. He's waking up, so you can just constantly put him to sleep, and there's nothing he can do. Absolutely nothing. So the Holy Dragon is an optional boss fought inside the Cultist Tower. He will be fought inside a room. Now, he will spam Holy constantly. He's very annoying. And I do believe he has a reflect. No, he does not. He is vulnerable to silence. So if you silence him, he can't do anything anymore because he will only use Holy. And only Holy. In addition, he is also not vulnerable to Stop. So you can use the combination of Stop and Silence to completely neutralize him. Silence just completely kills him. There's nothing he can do once you implement Silence on this boss. So welcome to the Dream Stooges fight. This fight is interesting. You normally come here with only 3 party members, since Cyan is, or Cyan, is generally the 4th party member. So, there are a few things for this fight. First of all, if you want to take care of Laragorn, he is not immune to instant death. If you do not have instant death, you can use Doom from Strago, that also works. The next step is Kurlax is not immune to sleep. And finally, Mobius is not immune to Berserk. With all of this in play, you can basically just bully them. In addition, if you really need to deal with Mobius, you can also cast Stop on him. So there is all of that. Now, you can just bully them with regular attacks, you can just do whatever you want. There's not a whole lot that they can do from here. If you want to super bully them, you can reduce their MP to 0, and they will perish. Now, the only one who's going to be a problem here is Kurlax, because he's going to be able to attack you with spells. Otherwise, not a super hard fight. Not a super hard fight at all. If you get rid of Laragorn immediately, you don't have to worry about Delta attack. So the Yeti. You will fight this guy in the Yeti Cave, which is past where you fight Galagor Manga in Nars. He's an optional boss. You will fight him when you pick up the Harato, or Harato? Or is it Midgar Sormer? I think it's Midgar Sormer, this person. The Magicite. And then after you defeat him, you will get him as a party member. Now, if you want to deal with this fight easily, he is not immune to sleep. With that in mind, you can just put him to sleep and then bombard him with whatever you want. There's nothing he can do about it as long as you keep him asleep. Super easy fight. Otherwise, you can't deal with physical attacks all the time. Also, as you can see, he's not immune to poison, so you can stack poison on top of him with that. You gotta love how sleep is actually pretty valuable against a lot of bosses. And poison. Well, I say a lot of bosses, but a handful of bosses. Bet you didn't know about most of these before now, did you? To be honest, even I didn't know about a lot of these until recently. So here we are with the final fight of the game. So, for this fight has a few things that allow you to just outright seize it. First of all, you can use Calgluffus here, and this will instantly defeat that arm on the far left. So that is the long arm. The long arm is dead. Good. Now for the short arm, which is the other arm, you can actually inflict Berserk on it. That's this arm right here. That will take care of that arm. So that leaves just, if we go ahead up there, which we're just gonna Ultima spam. Just Ultima spam it. There's nothing else you can do with the head. We are gonna take care of this head though. Because you don't really want to leave the head alive, because he can use, he can use Dread something or another, I forget what it's called. Dread Gaze. So, with that, this guy can no longer do anything, really, under Berserk. Assuming, you know, you use, where is it? If you have Thanos on. With Thanos on, this guy can no longer do anything. So now let's just deal with this guy, and we'll move on to the next phase of the fight. And there we go. That fight's done. So we're moving on to phase 2, which is gonna be like 5 different enemies. And each of these enemies is very easy to deal with. So we're gonna start with a couple of the enemies immediately. So whenever we get turn, we are gonna be using Death on Messine, which is, which one's Messine? I think this is Messine right here, so use Death on that. Are you Messine? That was Messine, so you use Death on that to instantly deal with. You can use Silence on Magic, which I think is... That's Tiger, that's Power, that's Magic, I believe. So use Silence, and that will deal with Magic. Now Magic can't do anything. Power, which is the one in front, you can actually use, you can actually use Sleep on him. And that will nullify, well, it will mostly nullify, Power, if you can get a hit. If you could get a hit. Tiger down there is... You can hit him with poison. So poison does work on him. Does Sleep not work on this guy? Sleep might not work on this guy. The wiki might have lied to me about this. As the wiki can do. I believe... That's a flare star. I believe, stop. No? Am I just, like, losing it? Oh, no. This guy's really trying to do Dispel on me. Oh, it's... Okay, it's stop that power is weak. I'm thinking of the wrong thing. He's not weak to sleep. He's weak to stop. So that just leaves the Higer. So Higer, you just deal with normally. Everyone else, Machine, just instant death. For Magic, just hit with silence. For Higer, hit with poison. For Power, hit with stop. And that's the general gist of this phase. I believe if Power is stopped, he won't hit you with 10 hits. No, he will. He still will. If you have Banis before you kill Power, then all of these hits will miss. Reminder, make sure you have re-raise before you go to the next phase of any fight, just so you don't get yourself trapped. And by trapped, I mean having someone die on you that you don't want to die on you. He's really trying his best. He's really trying his best. In that space, so thinking about it, the Pixel Remaster may have changed some of these vulnerabilities. I'm not 100% sure. I would have to actually look at past versions, but I wouldn't be surprised if they changed some vulnerabilities. So, honorable mentions to the Guard Leader. If you come here with Mog in your party, after you have fought one of these guards and enemies at the start of the game, you should have Earth Blues. If you use Earth Blues during this fight, you should get the instant death called Snare, or I think it's Snare in this version. And that will instantly defeat any of the enemies here, including the boss. So, there's your cheap hat hit of Guard Leader. For the Helmet Armor, this requires you to not open any of the chests on your first visit through the Cave Anars. When you're doing lock scenario, when you have lock in Celis, if you didn't open a specific chest, you could get the Thunder Rod. By using the Thunder Rod in this fight, you can one-hit KO the Helmet Armor in one shot. The Phantom Train, we all know how the Phantom Train works. Throw Phoenix down, you instantly win the fight. But of course, you gotta suplex the train, you just gotta. Kefka here, if you want to deal with Kefka very easily, bring Celis. Celis with Runic completely nullifies the entire fight with Kefka. If you're fast enough in the Ifrit Shiva fight, you can beat one of them before the other one even has time to come out. They share the same age people, so there is that method. And for Flame Ear, if you have Ice Rods, you can use them in this fight. Additionally, Straker can end this fight very quickly with Aqua Breath. Or, if you really want to try it, you can use Rask to reduce his MP to 0. He will die when his MP hits 0. Likewise, for Ultimate Weapon, you might find it easier to reduce his MP to 0. That will kill him without making him go to phase 2 where he's much more dangerous. So, you could go the Rask Osmo strat against him if you feel comfortable enough to do so. The Tentacles, this tentacle in particular is actually weak to instant death. This is the bottom left tentacle. All the other tentacles have the same resist, so I'm actually not sure why they are resistant to instant death, but it looks like you can actually inflict sleep on them, so except for this one, whichever one that is. It's one of the smaller ones, so it's probably either the upper left or upper right. Wild. In addition, Dullahan, if you reduce his MP to 0, he will die. probably a lot easier to do than trying to fight him normally. What you can do is set yourself up so that you throw Ras with your three characters, while Celes is busy using Runic to deal with Dullahan's magic axe. And that is all of the cheese methods in the game, bar one cheese method. And that is the ultimate cheese called Gao. If you're wondering what I mean, and I do not have the raids on hand to show, Gao requires the Rafflesia raids. Rafflesia you can only fight in Alcer's mansion at the World of Ruin, and you must do this before you finish the mansion, I believe. I could be wrong. You need to check a page in order to fight them. The reason why Rafflesia is broken is that Gao can inflict charm with Rafflesia, and no enemy in the game is immune to charm. Now, I'm not exactly sure exactly how much it breaks the game. I do not have access to it. I can try to get it, but no guarantees on that. If I get it, I may do a little sort and show what exactly it does, unless someone beats me to it. So with that, these are all the cheese methods you can use to fight all of the bosses in the game. So that is, let me see how many different bosses that is. That is 1. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Do you want to count that as cheese method? I don't. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, kinda in the way, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, about 22 bosses you can seize in this game. 22 boss fights. Keep in mind, some of these are grouped together, so there's more enemies in a single fight. But ultimately, the game's not hard. It's really not that hard. So, hopefully this helps you with seizing some of the bosses. I know there's some instances where I got fooled by bad information because I don't think the wikis actually update on some of this stuff. But it is what it is. Hope this helps you, and I will catch you all in the next video, whatever that may be. So, ladies and gentlemen, I took the time to get the Rafflesia range. Rafflesia is broken. It's absolutely broken. You see this move? Nothing in the game is immune to it. There is no way to cure it. At all. In fact, I'm gonna let you see what happened when I just let Foul run now. It's basically the same as being confused. It uses the confuse or control. I want to say control script, but as you can see, final boss can't do anything at all. And like I mentioned, not a single enemy is immune to this. Remember, you have to beat the Rafflesia in Alcer's manner to get it to show up in Belt. Then you go to the Belt. It will be pack number 37, so after you fight, like the brown and orange macros, you will run it to the next pack. Save before you go to the next pack. Reload if you don't get a Rafflesia. As you can see, I didn't even do anything other than Curaga and Rafflesia. And if you're playing the advanced port of the game, this also works in the post-game dungeon. So Omega Weapon and Kaiser Dragon, this will work on. You know, I underestimate you, Gal. Granted, you won't get this until near the end of the game, but you can basically just seize anything using Gal. The moment you go to Alcer's Manor, this requires you to do all the way up to Daryl's Tomb. Go to, you gotta get Shadow. And then after you get Shadow, actually, do you need Shadow to do, Alcer's Manor? You might not. You might be able to just go straight to where Realm is and fight the, Rafflesia. Defeat the Rafflesia there, then go get Gal of the Belt, and then you could go ahead and get the Rafflesia Rage, and from there, Gal is just gonna destroy every boss in the game by making them attack themselves. Let us see what happens if we use this on, say... What's their name? Shadownook. What happens if we do this to Shadownook, who is the boss in Alcer's Manor? Shall we find out? So it doesn't work on the Goddess. This is one of the rare instances where, it just doesn't work. Oh! This is correct. No! She's actually hidden herself. Oh no! The most broken rage in the game, but what happens here? Does it continue to hit herself? No. And it doesn't work on the Goddess form. Interesting. Granted, you're probably not going to be using this against Shadownook. But, you know, it's there. And also, yep, Shadownook is forever stuck that way even if she switches faces. Isn't that hilarious? So that is the ultimate way of seizing the game. Get Rafflesia, and you win. Nothing in the game is going to stop you. Kefka can do nothing against the power of Gal. And with that, now I will say, until next time everyone, whenever that may be, I will catch you all on the flip side of the void for the next video. Whatever that is, whatever it is. Hopefully this video has helped you. And once again, thank you for watching, and I hope that this video and any other future videos help you with whatever you need. Until next time.